So give me 10 minutes of your time and let's solve this inflation issue forever. This is Nigeria. Inflation is growing every day. All right, welcome to Change Catalyst. I'm worried about this inflation thing, okay? And we always trying to profile little solutions that will get up there. So what do you think is the mastermind to inflation? So there are parameters that are increasing our inflation in Nigeria. The biggest one is that we are a consuming nation. Every politician, every economist will tell you. But what they fail to do is to go into the market and play the role. One way, if you go into the market to do market survey, that you will see that is our problem is we import. And most things we import have what we call tariff. Now, tariff is supposed to be a way government cushion local goods against foreign prices. That is, if somebody is importing television from China and somebody is making television in Nigeria, you put tariff on the China goods so that people will buy the Nigerian one because it's cheaper. But this is the problem. iPhone is made in China and is sold in USA because iPhone is in collaboration with the companies in the US. Now, the company in US also have their local phones. So in order for US to encourage people to buy the products in US, they'll put a tariff on iPhone. Now Nigerians go to buy this iPhone because the original iPhones are coupled in the US. Buy this iPhone from the US that is already having a tariff in China before export duties and the rest, before coming to Nigeria. You see? So we are paying a tariff that the US are supposed to be paying because the person that buy these goods in US before selling to us have already put tariff, paid for their tariff, and it has accumulated in the cost. The tariff battle between nations, Nigeria is not a producing nation, so we don't battle in it. But we pay for external battle. That is one. So you get goods that are supposed to be sold for 100,000 are now sold for millions. Forget about the inflation of price by Nigerians, which is another parameter. An sensitive parameter, which is as a result of no regulation. And you say in an open market, there is no regulation because Nigeria run a mixed economy, a capitalist and a socialist economy, making it very difficult for government to choose which to regulate because most times they regulate the factors that affect the big companies and not the small growing ones, and even the market at float that the masses trade on. Now, another thing is the fact that we spend money buying things that we don't need. Like in Nigeria, a person, I would always say, a family will save money. Somebody is not eating breakfast, he will just eat lunch and maybe snack on dinner, but he's saving millions to buy a car and to build a house, not to rent a space. There is no mortgage system. So he's gathering all his wealth, trading and doing all business to purchase house and fill it with television and buy a car. And you cannot, we have millionaires that do not eat 3 square meal or 2 square meal because they want to own wealth. They want to save for their future because there is no plan that the government kept for old age. So they have to work now. And what it means is that they have to, since Nigeria cannot produce things like car, they have to spend this money abroad. And when you spend this money abroad, you're increasing demand for dollars, demand for yen. Local demand for naira is dropping. So we have some people, one man have like 15 cars, and these are exorbitant cars. Celebrities influencing the masses on getting better cars. I said in Nigeria, there are some certain people are supposed to be driving car of 50,000 if there is anything like that. 500,000 naira car is supposed to be like the latest Camry. But you see, because we have competitively used abnormal demand, G-Wagon is even selling more expensive in Nigeria than in USA. This abnormal demand is part of why the Naira keep dropping value. Now, another thing is the government is so insensitive that they flood in money. Somebody asked Elon Musk, in the nearest future, you said there will be no need for money because you are accumulating the whole money of the world. Will there come a time when you will flood in your money, share your money among people so that we will have a rotation of this wealth, because it's all the wealth are going towards you and not the trillionaire in dollars? He said, if we do that, there will be inflation, because yes, there's cash. And that is where Nigerian government gets it wrong. For every time the masses agitate, the next thing you do, you increase salary to cushion issues. That is the wrong way. What you just did, you increase cash float. Cash float with no production means we have the same product, but people now have money. That is, the highest bidder goes for it. That is, you started paying me 2,000 naira from 1,000 naira. The same rice, the same available 2 cups of rice that is in the market is still there. So when I go to the market this time, I have 2,000 naira. I will ask to buy a cup of rice 150 instead of pricing it for 100 naira, because I have more money now. Meaning the seller now have to find a way to increase the money to 200 so that who can buy should buy, because availability of products is still the same, but purchasing power have increased, leading to inflation. Government, I know now so they think. And you have increased both army salary, minimum wage, NYSC salary, and you're complaining. Oga, no be head una get, no be economics that are, they call them professors, they call them PhD, and I keep wondering why they don't track this logic. The masses just protest, boom, you increase salary. You don't touch the roots. Let's not talk about data. You know, data is life now. That's what people will say. But who generates the frequency that use that data? That is, for every time you buy airtime, where did the final income goes to? Nigeria Regulatory Agency doesn't have this income coming to them. They pay for this frequency, the database, those people that run the data system in the sea and the rest, the metal, they have huge amount of demand of this, and the demand exceeds. So a government is not even talking about how to cushion our dependence on satellites from the West, on data usage from the West, and you want inflation. You are buying everything the West. Look at Nigeria and tell me, even in food that we consume, how many percentage of the products in Nigeria are Nigeria made, including the clothes I'm wearing now. Everything you see around me have a way to go back. So the Ajaokuta steel is like an outdated industry that we want to, but it has not yet, we want to revive, but it's not yet reviving. In a world that is growing, Dangote as an individual has shown that as an institution, as a body, as an individual, you can create wealth that the outsiders will come to Nigeria and demand. And Dangote borrowed his money through Nigeria and he has paid for his refinery. People are now moving to electric car. Nigeria, we are still far. And people are complaining. So where is the problem? Is it the masses? Because the masses' behavior, I talked about it, in terms of acquiring wealth without generating wealth. Or is it the government? Like I said, the West will not come and help you, because even when you want to grow, they will discourage it. You saw what happened with Hawaii trying to overcome, not Hawaii trying to build their own space, their own dominance in software, and how America withdrew all their software, talking to the companies, and it led to the fall of Hawaii as a product, and iPhone took over because iPhone agreed to liaise with them to do coupling and sending and selling what they produce, and how NASA actually blocked Chinese from coming into the airspace industry. You think the whites are going to leave you? They are going to always be there for you, to keep you. So any government that has not picked a fight like the Burkina Faso and the rest. Not that kind of Burkina Faso fight, but a fight for certain liberation on goods and products. It's never going to fight inflation. Case closed. What do you have to say in the comment section?